Hey guys, welcome back to my channel tonight. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Appreciate it if you guys hit the subscribe button down there in the bottom and leave me a little bit of feedback what you guys think about the channel. So tonight I'm back out in the garage. If you haven't been following along, we've put some tie rods and stuff on my 450, and tonight I'm going to show you how I set my camber, caster, ride height, and all the suspension stuff on my 450. So a couple of tools you're going to want that I use is some jack stands. You're going to need a framing square, tape measure, and some string. So I use the string to help set the toe, and you're also going to need a couple ratchet straps. I use ratchet straps to lock down the handlebars so that they don't move while I'm setting the toe. Alright, I almost forgot too, guys. If we get this thing all done tonight, stick around for the end of the video. I'll see if this thing will start. Everyone tells me that kickstart Hondas are kind of hard to start, and the last time I rode this thing was at our last race. I mean, you guys saw the flat track tires and stuff I took off if you've watched some of the other videos. It's been sitting in here since the beginning of October. Hasn't moved, I haven't done anything, haven't started it, nothing, and it's now beginning of December. So it's been sitting in here for 2 months and it hasn't started or ran. So if we get it all done, we'll see how well it starts. So watch till the end. Thanks. So we'll go ahead and get started on here. The first thing you're going to need to do is set your ride height. So in order to set the ride height, you're going to need 2 people, because you're going to want to be on the bike to set the ride height, and it's kind of hard to look at the tape measure and be on the bike at the same time. So I've already went ahead and done that, so my ride height's already set, but I'll show you how I've done it and pretty much where I measure from. So the first thing that I do, of course, is jump up and down on the bike, squat the suspension, and then I come right back here and I measure at the frame and the foot peg. Now you can see now that I'm almost 9 inches to the bottom of my frame, but whenever I'm on it, I'm down at, what was I think I was like 7 inches whenever I was on it. And then I normally come up here to the front, and then I measure right here at this little gusset on the frame, and it's kind of hard to see on here, but on this one right now it's showing roughly like 9.5, but whenever I was on it, I was like 7 3/4, and I normally try and run 1/8 to 1/4 inch higher in the front than I do in the back. You guys can set it up however you like, but I've always found it to ride a little better with the front just slightly higher than the back. So that's how I set up the ride height. And like I said, if you're not where you want to be, of course you're going to need a spanner wrench of some sort to move your threaded adjusters, and then I normally try and keep them the same height, of course. So you find a spot to measure, you know, on there. So like I said, this one, I don't want to focus, but it's reading right around 2.5. And then if you come over here to this side, you measure, and we're right at like 2.5 on this side also. So I always try and keep those the same. So then after that, the next thing I do is I try and get my bars locked down straight. And in order to do that, I use some ratchet straps and I run it from the handlebars back to the grab bar, and I put a cross in them, and I don't crank them down tight. I just tighten them enough that the handlebars aren't going to move on you. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and I'll get back with you. Alright, I got the handlebars strapped down. So there, as you can see, basically, like I said, I get on the bike, I hold the handlebars where I feel straight, where I want them to be, and I put the ratchet straps around them and tighten them down and snug them up a little bit. Like I said, don't get carried away with it. But like I said, they're just basically to hold it in place so that when you're turning your tie rods to make your adjustments, they're not moving around on you. So now that I got those locked in place, the next thing I'm going to do is I use a piece of string, and I'll tie it to a jack stand, and I'll put the jack stand out in front of the four-wheeler, and then I run the string all the way around the back of both tires and then up to a jack stand on the front again. So you'll have two jack stands out in front of the bike, and then I'll just slowly move those jack stands in until the string touches the front of the back tires. So I'll go ahead and get that set up, and then I'll show you guys what I'm doing here. Okay. Alright, so I got the two jack stands out in the front. I got the string tied to them, and basically the string runs down here, and you can see it don't touch the front tire. But when you get back here to the back, it's touching, of course, this side wall, and then it's just barely touching that one. And what that allows you to do is to make sure your front tires are square with the back tires. That way it drives straight. So next thing I'm going to do is get my toe set, and basically on this thing, all you got to do then is measure from the string to the rim on both of them, and I try to get about 1/8 of an inch or so toed in on there. So basically, when you take your measurements, you want your the front of the tire to be 1/8 inch more from the string than the back. And then you'll do the same thing on both sides. So I'll go ahead and get that set up. Okay, so now you can see from the string, we are at, you can't see it very well, like 2 5/8 on the back. So then on the front, we are 2 3/4. So that gives me 1/8 inch toe in on the front tires. So then when you actually look down through there, they look pretty straight. And that allows you to set the toe to the back tires versus the frame. So I mean, if you're twisted or anything on the frame anywhere, you eliminate your measurements for your tie rods and stuff being messed up if you measure from the string instead. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and then I'll go ahead and get the jam nuts on the tie rods locked down. Alright, so now I've got the toe set, and basically what I'm going to do next is I'm going to measure my camber. And like I said, I normally run about the same, 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch or so of camber. And what you're going to need for that is the square. And you're also going to want to make sure your floor is kind of level, because you're going to, there we go, put the square up against the floor and then up against your rim. There we go. And then once that's in there, then you'll measure your gap here between the square and the rim. And in order to adjust that, you're going to loosen these nuts and slide it in and out. And then with these being the Hauser Sly Cast, if you want to set your caster, you've got this little cam built into the upper control arm here. So you'd loosen this, then there's a pin out here. You pivot this around and set your caster with. And I've already got mine set. It was set up for motocross, so I've got pretty much the, I think it's the most amount of caster that you can get with those. That way it turns a little quicker coming into the corners and stuff. And like I said, mine's already set, so I'm not going to do that. And then in order to adjust your camber, like I said, you'll loosen these two here and basically thread this jam nut in or out to change your caster. And I'm going to go ahead and do that here real quick, and we'll get her finished up. You'll take this square and shove it up against the rim, and then measure from the rim to the square. And this one here, it's kind of far. For what I like, it's about 5/8 of an inch. So I need to bring this one out a little bit, and then when we come over here, this one over here is actually pretty good. It's just about 1/4 inch. So this one's at 1/4 inch, and that one's a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen those up and camber that fit. Loosen it up and shove the wheel out a little bit so that it's got a little less camber. Alright, so there we have it. We've got the camber, caster, toe, ride height. Pretty much got it all set up tonight, and it was relatively quick, but like I said, my ride height was already set, so that was pretty easy to do. And one other thing, I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, the first thing that you want to do before you start all of this is set your tire pressures. Make sure you set your tire pressures to the pressure that you plan on running, because of course that's going to change and affect your ride height. And like I said, you normally start with the ride height and get all that first. And generally you also want to do your camber and your caster before you set your toe. I kind of did it backwards, but I already knew my caster was set and I knew my camber was pretty close. So even after you do your camber caster adjustment, you should definitely do the toe last. That's generally the last thing you do. But I wanted to get the tires at least close enough to measure with the square. I mean, if the tire was completely turned sideways like it was last night in the video, there's no way you can get an accurate measurement for your camber. So that was the reason I did the toe first. But like I said, it was a quick, easy video of how I set my suspension up. And like I said, I think I pretty much got her all switched over now so that I can go do some winter trail riding and maybe take her out and do some hill climbing and stuff with it. So it's been a little while since I've done much crazy hill climbing, but definitely miss it and would like to get back out there and do it a little bit more. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please, like I said, don't forget to share and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I do post videos. Here I've kind of been getting them out maybe about 2 a week, but ideally I'd like to get 1 good video a week. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, thanks for watching, and like I said, please subscribe, and hope everybody has a good evening. So I almost forgot. I was closed out the video and was getting ready to go out, but I forgot I told you at the beginning, if we got it done tonight, I would try and start this thing, because like I said, it hasn't started in almost 2 months. It's just been sitting here. And it's pretty cold out here. I don't know if you can see my breath in the camera or not, but I don't have a thermometer, but I would say it's maybe 35, 40 degrees, probably 40 degrees out here, because I think it's 36 outside. So it's probably about 40 degrees in here, and it's definitely not hot. It's cold. It's been sitting here. So we'll see if it starts and how easily it starts. And it says I've always had good luck with it, so we'll see. Well guys, can't beat that. It's been sitting here for 2 months and fired up on the first kick. So, guess can't beat a Honda.